Hi guys, as promised earlier, I'm here to talk about life of an army wife. I have been waiting to do this video for a long time, and a lot of you requested me to tell you something, at least something about what it is like to be an army wife. So here it goes. Don't mind if I ramble in between because I do not make a structured list. I'll just speak out my mind. So where do I start from? Dave and I, we met each other online through Facebook. He slid into my messages. So it was an online romance. So after being friends for um 1 year, we started dating, and that too was online. He was in the Indian Military Academy back then. He was a cadet. So what made him stand out was that he is not your regular guy. He was very he is why am I saying was he is very polite, very chivalrous, very gentleman, he's like the knight in shining armor types. You get the scene, those fairy tale fairy tale man, fairy tale gentleman kind of guy. And initially he would call me ma'am. It was, yeah, normally if a guy calls you ma'am, it's like so I don't know, it's like very 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 formal for a civilian. So yeah, that is how they are trained. They will treat not just him, all the army guys, army, air force, navy. They will never call a woman by her name. They'll always call her ma'am, doesn't matter who she is. And even if the officer is your husband's senior, he will still call his junior's wife ma'am. He will open car doors for her, open doors for her, take out chairs and let her sit. So yeah, in the armed forces, they like to be traditional. These traditions have passed on from generation to generation. You can find its roots in the British era. So they have continued those customs which were prevalent during the British rule. So yeah, and yeah, I, as you guys know, I don't stay with him all the time. I visit him time to time. So I did experience what it is like to stay in a military camp. And yeah, there are lots of perks. You have these facilities. You have CSD canteens where you get items. You get house items, groceries, and everything at a very discounted rate. And you get liquor. If you're a drinking person, you would already know. You get liquor at a very cheap rate. Then you have access to all the clubs. You have access to clubs. You can play any sport, and your kids can go to uh, different schools, Sanic schools, and there are many more. And even for the ladies, you can pursue your higher education. Army has dental college, engineering college, hotel management, education colleges, name it all, they have it. Okay, those are the facilities. I think most of you would all already know about the facilities. But today I'm going to talk about mainly what it is like to be a lady. By lady, I mean wife of an officer in the armed forces. So the officers have their own rules and regulations, they have their own ranks, seniority and everything. And it's the same amongst the ladies. So the ladies follow the seniority of their husbands. So a lieutenant's wife would always treat a major's wife as her senior, give her that respect. And there is this Army Wives Welfare Association. This association organizes various kinds of activities for women, for ladies, the army wives. To you can participate, you can do events, and then every weekend you have parties. You have parties, and this is not your usual party. It's like a get together. All of you, all of the officers and their families, they come, they sit, they talk, and they have drinks, they have good food. But it's not like yay go crazy types. It's a very formal party. And when you are a lady, you need to act like a lady, you need to talk like a lady, you need to walk like a lady. You cannot, and there is a dress code that we strictly follow. You cannot wear what would I say, it's a little conservative. You cannot wear revealing dresses. You should respect I had a little what to say, you should respect everyone's background. In the army, not everyone comes from urban backgrounds. There are people coming from rural areas as well, and a lady cannot dress in a cheap way. So mostly you'll see officers' wives wearing sari, wearing kurtas, elegant kurtas. They don't wear halter necks and all that. You have to be elegant at all times, and you also need to have knowledge. You should know how to talk. You cannot be a dum dum who looks pretty but has nothing here. You need to be aware of what's going on around you. You should be able to hold. You should be able to, have a decent conversation. You should know what's going on around. And yeah, see, in the army, yeah, it's a fact that our husbands will not be always with us. I, as a civilian, I didn't know this. They have operations, they have patrolling. I cannot go into the details much, but yeah, they need to be away from the family every 2 years, every alternate 2 years. So that time you need to be on your own. And yeah, you just have to be strong. Even if you have never been that independent. The army life makes you independent, and you just feel so empowered. You just feel so empowered. You take all the decisions on your own. If something happens, you are in charge. It's not like we we don't have the option of calling our husbands for every little trouble we have. So yeah, there's a lot of autonomy, and during those times we have the other ladies looking out for each other. We meet up, we have kitty parties, we have outings. So we just stay busy one way or the another. And we have classes, different kinds of classes, depends on what you're interested in. If you like cooking, you can go for culinary classes. If you like painting, you can go for painting. Some places even offer coaching for certain subjects, and higher studies, you can go and do that. So those 2 years you can really work on self improvement. And yeah, um, we don't need to do much of household chores, you know. We have people who come clean your house, they do the cooking. It depends on you. Some ladies are there who like to do everything on their own, but also there are some who have their own cooks, their own housekeepers, a nanny. And yeah, it's easy to be spoiled when you have so many facilities, you know. All you need to focus on is the managerial part. You need to, you just say the word and it will be done. And what else? um, there was a lot, but I cannot think of more right now. Okay, now I'll talk about my own experience. I was in a military cantonment for 3 months. Out of the 3 months, 1 month Debu was doing some kind of duty in God knows where. I don't know the location. Really, that happens too. Sometimes your husbands cannot really tell you the exact locations, and it's also better not to know. If you don't know, nobody can take it out of you, out of your mouth. You don't know. You know what I mean? So yeah, he was in some place very far where there is no network, nothing. So 1 month I was not in touch, and even if he called me from an army line, it would be a conversation of 2-3 minutes, and so much is happening in your life. What would you talk about in those 2-3 minutes? And that too, he would call at night after entire days of heavy work. He would talk in his sleep, you know, but at least he would call. The effort, I really love how much effort he puts in the relationship. There is a saying that army couples never fall out of love or never get bored of the relationship. Why? Because we are away from each other from time to time, you know. They go away, then the anticipation of them coming back, we are so happy, so eager to see them again. It's like love at first sight again. You see them after a long time and you just feel so happy, and you know, all the mushy stuff. So it's like the love stays new, I would say, even after being married for 7 years. I have had very senior ladies telling me that they don't feel like they have been married for 12 years, 7 years, 8 years. So you can get the idea. Okay, so where was I? Okay, yeah. So out of 3 months, 1 month he was not with me. So that entire month I was so busy with women welfare stuff. We were organizing skits, our own party